Welcome to episode 206, John Malone, Cable Cowboy King, 10 Lessons. This is an outline of episode 206. Lesson number 1, he's a man of vision.
Given that he too is a visionary, someone who has the ability to visualize in ways that few other people can. And I'm sure that this is why he is so successful in business, always staying many steps ahead of his competition.
And what's really... Due to high infrastructure costs, a cable system is a natural monopoly. To start a competing cable system, you need to dig up city streets, sidewalks, front yards, walls, and of course you also have to sign up tens of thousands of customers to even have a chance of making it financially viable. As difficult as this is, Google has actually tried this with its fiber project. But after 6 years and hundreds of millions of dollars in capital expenditures, they are estimated to have less than 500,000 internet customers.
And lesson number 2, he's a man of many university degrees. By the time he was 26, he had a PhD, 2 master's degrees. He did all that while working full-time at Bell Labs.
He studied electrical engineering and economics at Yale.
I looked around as to where I could continue my education and be paid for it, and in those days, there were really only 3 organizations that did that sort of thing. One of the 3 was Bell Laboratories. So I actually went to work for Bell Labs. They sent me off to get my master's degree in operations research, all expenses paid, plus a salary, and got my doctorate at Johns Hopkins in operations research and computer science.
Lesson number 3, scale economics. When marginal cost is 0, marginal revenue will fuel exponential growth.
Put them in a position to start consolidating the smaller operators so that increasingly scale economics started to play a role for the cable industry, for the operators, as well as for the programmers, and the two went hand in hand.
Lesson number 4, horizontal acquisitions.
You know, the easiest deals are the ones where you're buying another business or merging it in the business you're already in. Those are easy. They're easy to figure out. They're generally horizontal acquisitions. And you gain scale, synergies. When the cable industry started, pretty much every community issued a franchise to operate in that community. Typically, they would issue the franchise to local people, usually politicians or their friends. And so the industry started 50 years ago, very, very balkanized, thousands of individual cable franchises.
Lesson number 5, vertical integration.
The other is, plain and simple, vertical acquisitions are much tougher than horizontal ones because you're essentially buying a business you don't know and you don't understand. Whereas buying one like yours, you're already in it. You understand it, you know the people, you know the economics, much simpler. So a lot of vertical acquisitions don't work. I mean, if you're looking for an example, say the acquisition of, or the merger of AOL with Time Warner.
Lesson number 6, bad acquisitions. Usually these are vertical integrations gone wrong because the acquisition is in a different industry.
Probably the biggest destructive merger that I've been involved in was when we sold our big cable company, TCI, to AT&T. And that was, at the time it happened, and it agreed to in 1999, it was the largest merger in the U.S. business history up to that point in time. It was about $60 billion. And unfortunately, the AT&T people got into the cable business for the wrong reason. They didn't really understand it. They thought it was going to be a solution to their problem of connecting the last mile in their telephony network. They were a little bit naive about that. And to give you rough numbers, in 1999, AT&T had a cash flow, EBITDA, of $16 billion. And they owed no net debt. Okay, by 2001, AT&T owed $78 billion and had an EBITDA of 9. A destruction of value that is kind of monumental. It was a disaster for the shareholders, It was a disaster for me personally because I was the largest shareholder.
Lesson number 7, trust is important. He had hundreds of partners in cable operators and about 40 partners in programming.
I couldn't exist without trust because my philosophy is pretty much delegation of authority and responsibility. And, you know, in many cases, and I probably at one point had over 40 partnerships going, there's no way that you can run those. You have to depend upon your partners or the executives to do the job. And you know, you can have auditors and everything, but the bottom line is, you know, you delegate authority to people you trust, and then you hold them accountable to perform. And it's a formula that generally has worked very well for me.
Lesson number 8, spawn other billionaires. The success of TCI created 3 self-made billionaires, John Malone, Bob Magness, and Robert Johnson. Lesson number 9, the new scaling economics, from national to global. For example, Netflix.
And all I'm saying is this game has migrated from being a domestic game to being a global game. The scale, anytime you get into software, whether it's entertainment or computer, it's all scale. It's all about scale. The guy who has the biggest scale. That's why Reed Hastings, who is, by the way, a terrific businessman, because he saw early on that if he could drive a business on top of the internet, he had a global business, okay? And what he's going for is global scale. And he gets global scale, he's the only guy who's going to be able to write the check to create the content at the level and at the quality that people are going to get used to. So he's trying to get there. Right. And he's got a big lead. Question is, can anybody catch him? But
lesson number 10, John Malone built an empire based on technology and entertainment. Very few billionaires have been able to excel in 2 arenas, and they did it in cowboy land in the middle of the country. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.